$200 lie shatters trust, destroys Georgia family. Willow Creek, GA. A seemingly innocuous financial deception involving just $200 has detonated a quiet suburban family, exposing a labyrinth of hidden truths and leaving a trail of shattered trust, divorce papers, and emotional wreckage. The Jenkins family of Willow Creek, once a picture of stability and mutual reliance, now stands as a stark testament to how even the smallest untruth, particularly when it masks deeper deceptions, can unravel the very fabric of a life built on assumed honesty. David Jenkins, 48, a marketing executive, still grapples with the raw pain of betrayal. "She lied for $200 and destroyed our family," he recounted, his voice tight with a grief that transcends mere financial loss. It wasn't about the money. It was about what that lie represented, what it hid. It was the crack that brought the whole house down. For years, the Jenkins household in a tree-lined cul-de-sac of Willow Creek had embodied the quintessential American dream. David, with his steady career, and Sarah Jenkins, 46, a part-time administrative assistant at a local law firm, had built a life centered around their two children, Emily, 16, and Michael, 10. Their home buzzed with the ordinary joys of family life, weekend soccer games, shared dinners, and the comforting rhythm of a partnership forged over 2 decades. Friends and neighbors often spoke of their enviable bond, a relationship seemingly built on transparency and unwavering support. "We were the couple everyone looked up to," David said, a bitter laugh escaping him. "The ones who had it all figured out. We trusted each other implicitly, or so I thought." The seeds of destruction were sown subtly, almost imperceptibly, nearly 2 years ago. The initial incident that David now pinpoints as the beginning of the end involved a request from Sarah for $200. Emily needed new textbooks for her AP classes, and her school account was short, Sarah had explained one evening over dinner. David, ever the provider, didn't hesitate. He transferred the money from their joint savings account into her personal account, a routine financial maneuver in their shared life. There was no reason to question it. Emily was diligent, her academic needs paramount. Weeks passed and life resumed its predictable course. Then a casual conversation with Emily about her new textbooks sparked a flicker of unease in David. "Oh, Dad, those were covered by the scholarship," Emily had said, looking puzzled. "I actually haven't needed any new books this semester." David's heart sank. It was a minor detail, easily dismissed as a misunderstanding, but the seed of doubt, once planted, began to sprout. He gently probed Sarah about the discrepancy, expecting a simple explanation, perhaps a different school expense, a forgotten bill. Instead, Sarah became defensive, her eyes darting away. She mumbled something about a miscommunication and quickly changed the subject. The discomfort lingered. David, usually trusting to a fault, found himself reviewing their online banking statements with a newfound scrutiny. The $200 transfer was there, clear as day. And then he saw it, a subsequent withdrawal of precisely $200 from Sarah's personal account, followed by a payment to an online gaming site. The revelation hit him with the force of a physical blow. It wasn't just the lie, it was the nature of the lie. The money hadn't gone to Emily's education. It had gone to a gambling website, a world David never knew Sarah inhabited. "I felt like I'd been punched in the gut," David recalled, his voice barely a whisper. It wasn't the amount. $200 in the grand scheme of our finances was nothing. But the deception, the direct lie about our daughter's education, and the hidden gambling, it was a profound violation. He confronted Sarah again, this time armed with evidence. The initial defensiveness crumbled into tears and a torrent of confessions. The $200 for Emily's textbooks was not an isolated incident. It was part of a larger, insidious pattern. Sarah admitted to a burgeoning online gambling habit, one that had started innocently with small bets but had gradually spiraled into a desperate cycle of chasing losses. The $200 had been to cover a particularly bad run, a desperate attempt to recover funds before David noticed. She swore it was the first time she'd lied about money, the first time she'd used family funds for gambling, David recounted, shaking his head. But once that door was open, everything else came flooding out. Over the next agonizing weeks, David meticulously pieced together the fragments of Sarah's hidden life. Small, unexplained withdrawals, credit card statements with unusual charges, and a growing sense of unease he had previously suppressed. He discovered that Sarah had been siphoning off small amounts from their joint accounts, making excuses for various household needs or unexpected expenses. The cumulative sum was far greater than $200, though still not financially ruinous. But the pattern of deception, the years of carefully constructed lies, painted a devastating picture. It wasn't just my trust she destroyed, it was my perception of reality, David explained. Every memory, every shared moment, every conversation felt tainted. Was she lying then? Was she hiding something else? The woman I thought I knew, the mother of my children, seemed to vanish, replaced by a stranger. The impact on their children was immediate and profound, even before they fully understood the gravity of their mother's deceptions. Emily, preparing for college, sensed the escalating tension. Michael, still young, became withdrawn and anxious. Though David tried to shield them, the emotional fallout was palpable. Arguments, once rare, became frequent and heated, often erupting after the children were in bed, their muffled voices still carrying through the thin walls. How do you explain to your children that their mother, who they love and trust implicitly, has been living a lie? David asked, running a hand through his hair. How do you tell them that the very foundation of their family, the security they've always known, is crumbling because of something they can't even comprehend? The ripple effect extended beyond their immediate family. David's sister, Lisa Chen, 50, a school teacher in Atlanta, witnessed her brother's descent into despair. David was always the rock, the stable one, Chen said in a phone interview. To see him so broken, so utterly lost was heartbreaking. Sarah's betrayal wasn't just against him, it was against the whole family, the future they had planned. Attempts at reconciliation were fraught with difficulty. Sarah, overwhelmed by guilt and shame, initially sought therapy for her gambling addiction and the underlying issues contributing to her deception. For a brief period, David held on to a sliver of hope. They attended marriage counseling, trying to navigate the treacherous path toward forgiveness and rebuilding trust. But the chasm of betrayal proved too wide. Sarah's commitment to transparency wavered, and David found himself constantly questioning, constantly searching for new signs of deception. The emotional vigilance was exhausting, unsustainable. Trust is like a pane of glass, explained Dr. Evelyn Reed, a family psychologist based in Marietta Gage, who specializes in marital and addiction counseling, though she has no direct involvement with the Jenkins family. Once it's shattered, you can glue the pieces back together, but the cracks will always be visible, and the integrity of the glass is forever compromised. With addiction especially, the cycle of lying and secrecy is deeply ingrained, making the rebuilding process incredibly challenging, often impossible without sustained, honest effort from the offending party and immense patience from the betrayed. Dr. Reed emphasized that the monetary value of the lie is often secondary to the breach of trust it represents. A lie, regardless of its size, signals a willingness to deceive someone you ostensibly love and respect, she said. When that lie is tied to a secret addiction, it compounds the betrayal. The partner feels not only lied to, but also manipulated, used, and fundamentally disrespected. It forces them to reevaluate every aspect of their shared history, leading to a profound sense of disorientation and emotional injury. For David, the weight of that disorientation became unbearable. The constant suspicion, the feeling of having lived a fabricated reality for years, eroded his spirit. Despite Sarah's pleas and promises of change, the psychological damage was too deep. He filed for divorce 6 months after the initial discovery.
The legal proceedings were emotionally grueling, turning their once shared life into a battleground of assets, custody arrangements, and lingering resentment. The financial impact of Sarah's gambling, though not catastrophic, complicated the division of their property. More significantly, the emotional cost was immeasurable. Family holidays, once vibrant gatherings, became awkward and strained, eventually ceasing altogether. Relationships with extended family members were fractured, some choosing sides, others simply retreating from the painful drama. Emily, now attending college out of state, maintains a guarded relationship with her mother, focusing on her studies. Michael, still living primarily with his father, struggles with the concept of truth and honesty, often questioning adult statements. He's lost a part of his innocence, David said of his son. He's seeing firsthand how a lie, even a small one, can utterly destroy everything. It's a harsh lesson for a child. Sarah Jenkins, through an attorney,